It's Sunday night, and this is the Conjugal Visit on KGFRocks.com.
Yeah, conjugal visits. Yeah, you give me a hello, big hello there, Guido.
Hey, hello.
Hey, we're on, man. We're fucking rocking and rolling. I told you I wouldn't forget how to do this shit.
Yeah,
We are live on KGFRocks.com through Spreaker. This is the Conjugal Visit Show, and we are back. How does it
yeah.
feel? How you feeling, Guido?
After it feels like we've been off for like 5 years or something.
No, it's only been 9 months. I think was the last show. 9 months ago, 10 months ago.
Uh,
I think it was like last April or May.
that's because we put a butt in the oven and let it, mature for 9 months.
Yeah, well, it's been a long time, and I'm glad to be back. And we decided to go ahead and do this again. And goddamn, I'm happy we did. I really am. I've been really busy working on it, and we getting people in, and we got 3 shows lined up, and we're looking pretty fucking good, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty good, and I'm glad that our first guest is the awesome Michael Pond from Michael Pond's Silent Assassins and Symphony X, great bassist.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what you'd say, bassist, or is it just bass player? I mean, what does a rock band?
Yeah, bass player. I mean, bass player is always the guy that's in trouble.
Right.
It sounds like something we need to, yeah, that's awesome. That's the guy that is going to give us the straight poop on what's really going on.
Or
And
Gene Simmons calls it the bass player.
the bass player, yeah,
But the bass player and the drummer are mostly the unsung heroes of a band. I mean, they got to keep that backbeat going and
yeah,
keep and besides a handful, not many are like the leaders of the band. I could say maybe Gene Simmons from Kiss and maybe Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue, and the
right.
biggest of all be Steve Harris from Iron Maiden. But besides that, if you Black Sabbath, you don't automatically say Geezer Butler unless you're a bass head.
No, that's Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy
Oh
Osbourne
shit!
is
I
the
forgot
man.
about Motorhead. That's the biggest
Motorhead.
bass.
Yeah.
Bass guy. But you don't really hear about it. Led Zeppelin, John Paul Jones has got the least media coverage or anything on him. Poor guy, and he's a fucking fabulous musician.
Oh, he's a fabulous. He plays every instrument. The guy can
He does,
play
yeah.
every fucking instrument. He's a what do they call that? Uh,
Yeah, what do you call it?
Masan or
Oh yeah, I didn't have a girlfriend when I was a kid, so I played music.
yeah, that kind of a thing. And he was probably the biggest dork in his school, and
Oh yeah,
but he played every instrument. He could play keyboards, he can play bass, he can play guitar, he can play all of it, and even drums. He played drums on a couple of
sure.
the Led Zeppelin songs.
Yeah, he
So
played a lot of filler. He even played some guitar parts and stuff. And
yeah,
if you look at it, dude, he's the most accomplished musician in Led Zeppelin, I think.
I think so too. And now too. Oh, he touched it. Oh, he's going in for a fucking touchdown.
You're not
Oh,
allowed to watch football during a live
oh.
broadcast.
No, that was one of those things. Sorry, I got carried away in the moment. I should shut it off, shouldn't I?
You probably should. Or
Okay, it's
I
off.
didn't watch football this year because of certain things. But anyways, it's just the same as it always is. Fucking Tom Brady's going to win it. He's going to go down as now if the Rams go, or the Rams are going. I'm sorry, if the Rams are going,
Right.
and wow, you sound better. What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. I sound better? Yeah, we had
Yeah.
a weak connection there on Skype,
Oh,
but now it's gone.
good.
Everything is better now. So we're not going to have to film more here.
So what I was saying is that if everybody remembers, in 2001, that's when the horrible September 11th thing happened. Crazy. We're not going that way. But here's my point. Tom Brady won his first NFL Super Bowl ring that year. The Patriots went in for America in 2001 against the St. Louis, or they were the St. Louis Rams at the time. Now, right. I think it's the end of Brady's career. So the NFL's decided, let's make Brady play the fucking Rams for his final Super Bowl win. Why not? And that's my opinion. I think that's what's going on. And people say, oh, it's not fixed. But you see these refs make these fucking calls that are not even there. Where the fuck was that? It's crazy.
I think it's all rigged. I think there's a definite problem with the officiating in NFL. And you're right to protest. I mean, by not watching because of the riggingness of it. I watched one tonight, and it was sad. It was really, really sad. I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe they didn't make that call." And had they made that call, then it wouldn't be in the Rams in the Super Bowl. Right. It would be the New Orleans Saints because that was the call of the game. No matter how poorly after that the Saints played, no matter how poorly they played, they would have won that game.
Right.
They would have won. Well,
here's the refs. The refs are thinking, or the NFL's thinking, okay, it's close now. All right, if the Patriots win, or we get the Patriots to win, then it'll be a better Super Bowl. Make the Rams win. Now, let's back it up. The players have nothing to do with this, most of them, in my opinion.
No,
they don't know what's going on. No. It's the refs, the league, and certain few players, I think, are involved in it.
And the rich motherfuckers. And the rich motherfuckers, and they'll even in the beginning of the season, well, it's not going to be your season. I'm going to tell you whose season it's going to be, and this is the guy. And whether it's Mahomes and the calls are going to lean towards the most winning teams. So the teams in the middle of the season that are like 6-1, 7-1, those are the teams that are going to get the calls going their way, man.
Sure, and if, in my opinion, also, the NFL has become the WWE.
The WWE. So what do you think of the new X-Football? We're going to have a football team in the X-Football that's coming up next season.
That was a great segue. That's a WWE franchise,
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And what do you think of that? Is it going to go this time? It didn't last time, but see, they're not doing all the tomfoolery that they did last time. It's going to be real football.
Yeah, so last time. I think it could work because people are getting, there's no competition left in the NFL. There's nothing. If you want to watch football and you're sick of the NFL right now, like I am, but you still like football. What do? I got to watch college football or the CFL?
Yeah.
So I think it might work this time. I think it's the perfect time to do it. And the first time they did it, it didn't work because they just made it too much like wrestling, and
and the oddball names on the back of the jersey, and the whole thing was comical. The whole thing was comical.
But I do think that the NFL has become the no fun league. There's too many rules. Okay. Yeah. Way too many. The rules that protect the player, I agree with. But a rule because you fucking use the ball as a prop as a 15-yard penalty, that's ludicrous. Yeah. When you're celebrating and you use the ball as a prop, who gives a shit?
Right. Yeah, you can't use the ball as a prop. What else? Oh, and they allowed the dancing and shit to go on.
Well, they didn't for a while. They stopped it. Then they revised it.
Right.
There was celebrations for a couple of years were only high fives and butt bounces and shit.
Yeah. They had to do something with the celebrations. I mean, they were calling way too many penalties for that, and it didn't make a difference. That's why they stopped calling them.
Well,
because
they
said didn't make a difference. They'd add 5 yards to the kickoff.
Well, the biggest blow to it all is when Terrell Owens kind of defaced the 50-yard line. The mascot on the Cowboys field when he went and that kind of did it. But some of it was comical, like Terrell Owens doing the river dance when he got a touchdown and shit. And I just think for growing up in the '80s and watching football in the '80s, when those guys were not getting all this money, they were getting money. They were getting paid more than the average person, but they weren't millionaires.
Right.
And they played the game a lot differently. It was like they played to win because what else do you got? I'm not playing this for money. I'm going to get an extra $10,000 if I win the championship.
Right.
But now it's all money motivated.
It's all money motivated, and it's for the city. The city that goes to the Super Bowl. Uh, uh, when they play, the only city that benefits from the Super Bowl is the host city.
Hmm.
Kansas City doesn't. Whoever goes there this year, L.A. doesn't benefit from them going to the Super Bowl.
Not at all.
And it doesn't, and that's what I think is wrong with the Super Bowl situation. I think, and this is my opinion, I think that the number one seed that wins and goes to the Super Bowl should be the home team, and that should be the team in that city. And
Right.
I think the NFL would benefit more, and I think the city that went to the Super Bowl would benefit more from it and make more
Well,
money on the deal. That's the whole I motherfucking deal is to
it
make more
is.
money.
It is to make more money. I mean, if you statistically look at everything, commercial during the Super Bowl now is so much money. I mean, I don't know what the
Oh
figure
yeah,
is for this year,
yeah.
but I mean, we're talking millions of dollars for
For 5 minutes,
seconds.
for a 30
Not e-
second spot,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a
5 minutes. You're
yeah,
fucked. You're gonna be Jeff Bezos to pay.
yeah, yeah.
5
Well,
minutes.
they won't allow that to happen. I guarantee you that.
No,
They're not going to allow that to happen. Have a 5 minute commercial? No
no, you
way.
can't. You can't afford it either. I mean, KGF Rocks is going to have a half a second commercial during the Super Bowl. We're going
Yeah.
to be like between the black space, KGF, and that's it.
Yeah. KGF Rock. We ought to make a commercial though. We really should make a commercial. KGF Rocks. Put it on TV. I could put it on the local cable here, and
You could.
it would broadcast right here on my TV set.
KGF Rocks, we rock your cock off.
Yeah. Ooh, it's intercepted. Anyway, we got all kinds of stuff going on with the Conjugal Visit show. We've got shows coming up, and I think that uh, this year is going to be the year of the KGF Rocks. I got to tell you,
Right.
it's going to be fun. I'm hoping to do a concert. Want to do a concert. Haven't done a concert in a few years, and I really want to do a concert and have some bands come and do a show for us at kgfrocks.com and maybe get some more notoriety out there. And
Well,
bring
the best way to do something like that, my friend, is maybe we should find some cause to do it for, because people generally do things better
Well, that's a good idea. Yeah.
for their heart and stuff when you do something for a cause,
Do it for
and
the St. Jude kids or the
uh,
Shriners. Yeah, do stuff like that. Yeah, that might be a good idea, and have door prizes as well. Maybe a an autographed guitar. You know,
I'll
and
sign it.
you'll sign it.
Yeah.
It's signed by all the KGF Rocks personalities. Yeah, yeah.
But what if you have more than one?
It'll be a silent auction. It'll be a silent auction.
What if you have more than one personality?
What if you have more than one person? We don't have more than one.
I mean,
We got
and
me.
yourself.
We got me, man. I'm the only personality we got.
Yeah, well, personality aside,
Yeah.
I have about six.
You have about six? Yeah. You have six personalities?
Sometimes it depends.
Which one you got going now?
Oh, this is Guido. He's the majestic, cool fucker. That's why he's the king.
Oh, that's the king. Okay, this is Guido. Okay, I
Right.
understand. I get it now. I understand.
It's there sometimes, and then I'm other people, but we can't talk about them on the air.
Right, that's true. Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
you're looking up info right now. That's what you do. You leave me talking while you're looking for stuff.
I'm trying to find the how to call our guest, but I want to make sure I do this right.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
So do you think now there's some shit going down in the world, and there's a whole lot of activity going on, and
Mhm.
I know that we don't normally talk about politics, but do you ever think? I mean, to yourself, why don't they just let him finish his time?
I know why they don't want to let him finish his time. Because he knows all their fucking dirty secrets. And I think personally right now he's on a mission to get those crooked fuckers out, and they're scared to death.
Right.
Is my opinion. And rightly so. They should be scared, because if he's really trying to do that, damn, what would you do if someone was trying to get rid of you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'd go after his ass if I had the power to do it.
Right. I mean, he's not, doing anything that's harming America. He's been doing a great job, in my opinion, and he's changed a lot of people's minds. Some people are now for him that they weren't before, and then he lost some people too. But just like every president, there's a lot of people. When George Bush first ran, I was a Bush supporter. By the end of it, I thought he was the most crooked fucking person ever.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, it's just like you said. Why don't they? That's my opinion, but they should just let him finish it out, and then don't vote for him next time.
Yeah, that's all. Just vote him out of office.
Right.
I always thought that was the way to go. I always thought that was the way it was supposed to be. But this is non-stop action, dude.
It's a witch hunt. When something falls apart and they can't find something on him to get him out of there, they try to find something else.
Right.
And that's not cool. We didn't do that to Barack Obama. We could have, and he could have probably been in jail for the things we would have found.
Right.
But
that's true. We could have.
People of this country voted for him. So you're supposed to stand behind your president if you like him or not. He's still the leader of your nation.
Right. That's true. That's true.
It's just a sad state that it's got to be so split, because, just because somebody's political view aligns with somebody else doesn't mean they're a jerk. But people are making it that way now.
That is very true, and they, and they know for a fact that there wasn't any collusion.
No, none.
They know that for a fact, not on his side. The
Right.
collusion was all on the other side.
Absolutely, uranium. Look into the uranium deal with freaking Russia. Who did that?
Yeah, all the bad guys,
20% of our uranium she sold to Russia.
Yep, that's treason.
20%. That's a lot.
Yeah, we promised normally not to get into politics, but we did tonight for just a minute, and we're going to go in, and Mike is patiently waiting
in the
for my
green
call.
room.
So he's in the green room, and the band is giving us a sign that we need to actually bring our guest in. So we're gonna play. I'm gonna play. Let's see, Silent Assassin, or actually we're gonna play Prodigy, and we're gonna play that tune from Silent Assassins, and then we'll be right back with our guest. Mike Lepond is our guest. We'll be back shortly, right after this. That was a kick-ass song. We're having technical difficulties bringing you in there, Mike, if you're listening. But I'm going to fix that. Mike, are you there?
Hello.
Hello? No. It is not letting me call him.
Well, we'll try. Why don't you play one more song from that, and then try it. And if not, we'll come back and...
Okay. Let's do, let's see, what can I play here? Let's do Outsider. Yeah, Mr. Technology here. Sorry about that, man. We played 2 of your songs, though.
Oh, that's awesome. So something's working.
Yeah, at least the music's working, right? We can get the music in there anytime. Mike, how the hell are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. How you guys been? All right?
We've been okay. Yeah,
I've been
excellent.
Yeah.
He's been excellent. I've been okay. So, but we're doing okay. We're doing all right. We're back on the air, and we got nothing but pride to know that we're bringing you back in on our show. It's been almost 3 years since you've been on our show.
Yeah, it's been quite a while, man.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's been quite a while, and you've done some stuff since then, and you've got some. So we want to get caught up on everything. What's new with the Silent Assassins? What's going on with you guys?
Well, let's see. Since I left you last, let's see, 3 years ago, you're looking at 16. Okay, well, um, yeah, so I did that first record of the Silent Assassins, and, got a lot of good critical acclaim. I wish it would have sold a little bit more, but hey, but it still did good. People liked it. And so what I did is I decided to do a second one, and which I did, and that got released January of 2018.
Oh, a year ago. Okay.
Yeah, basically about a year ago on Frontiers Music SRL, which is located in Italy. So I got a lot of good distribution, and again, a lot of good reviews, a lot of good feedback on it, and then, and people throughout this whole time, people kept asking me, if I could play a show, you got to play. So I finally decided to play a show,
Right.
and we did a show last month here in New Jersey, USA.
All right.
And it was definitely a success. The place, if it wasn't sold out, it was really close, and it was, the amount of love I was getting was just like, it was unbelievable. And people, there was one girl that flew all the way from Japan to see the show.
Wow.
Really?
Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. So, we made her like the star of the night, and it was really amazing just to have so many people singing your songs back to you, and everybody was in a great mood, and it was just a really, really great time. It's one of those nights that I'll definitely never forget. So the year ended on a real high note, and then basically now we're in January, so I began recording a third Silent Assassins record.
Wow.
Just started working on the drums right now. So it'll be a while. I'll probably finish it at some point during the year and release it next year. So
Excellent.
yeah, so that's still rolling.
That's great. And I tell you what, I can't wait, because I really love both of the first two. I mean, I literally have them in my playlist and everything. And both of those albums are probably the only two full-length albums that we play on this station. Every single track on both albums are on rotation.
They're all in our rotation. So your next album, we want the exclusive, dude. Your next album, we want
Dude,
the exclusive, dude.
You know something? I'll tell you what. You got it.
All right.
All right.
You got it.
We want the
No,
exclusive.
I mean, I really.
We'd love to have first dibs on KGF Rock. That would be
I
awesome.
I lied. I think the only two bands that we have full length album of every track on the album is you guys and a One Kiss album. That's it.
All right.
You're up there with the big league now, man.
What
You're,
Kiss
you're in the big leagues now, Mike. You're hanging with the big boys. Kiss.
Wow.
Yeah, they're doing their final of a final tour. I don't know if they're going to make it or not. They might just, talk about your Jurassic Rock. I can see it
my
now.
God,
Gene
dude, I know.
Simmons, the guy coming out with a walker and shit, with a bass attached to it.
Yeah,
and shit.
but you know what? Mike could probably do this too. Gene Simmons is an old man. It still looks pretty darn good. I mean,
it's amazing what plastic
he's still out
surgery and
there.
hair
Yeah,
dye will
right.
do for you.
and I don't know about you, but I think Shannon's got a little bigger in the bust area lately. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
she's got bigger in the butt too. I'm telling you, she has. She's put on the weight.
But
we're
anyways,
not. She's not a
I-
musician.
I tell you what, Mike, a funny story about me and Freeride. We've been together doing radio for about 7 years, and last year is the first time we met face to face. And
Get out of here.
yeah, it was pretty cool. We met at the Indianapolis Kiss Expo, and we met Ace Frehley and each other, and it was the coolest freaking 2 days of my life. I think it was pretty wild.
Was pretty cool. We had a great time and got to meet Ace and all that fun stuff. And there was a lot of memorabilia, very expensive memorabilia.
Very expensive, yeah.
There was even a Kiss casket. Can you believe that shit? There's a Kiss casket. Oh yeah. Talk about death, man.
I said to the guy, I said, well, what I need it for now? He goes, well, there's this cool option that it comes with for another whatever amount it was, a lot. You can add the cooler option, and you can chill your beer in it. I'm like, I'm good, dude. Don't worry about it.
In the casket.
Yeah. Put it in the man cave,
They've got it all covered, man. They've got everything covered, man, from cradle to the grave.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. And now I was talking to some Kiss insiders, and the thing they want to do is when they retire, is get 4 other people to keep it going in Vegas, like a Vegas show.
Yeah, it'll be a tribute band. I'm sorry, I don't think that. What do you think, Mike? Do you think that would fly, man?
For just like a novelty act, if they were sanctioned by the band and they were really, really good, maybe it would be cool, kind of like maybe like a Beatlemania kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be, it could never be like, oh, here's the Kiss album,
Yeah, a new album.
I'm really partial to them because that's the first band that I ever really decided that rock was, the life for me. And when I met Ace Frehley, I met a lot of people, but when I met Ace Frehley, it was like meeting my freaking rock. Like, wow, this is why I got into music, and I couldn't even talk. I was like tongue-tied, man. It was great though. So I remember 3 seconds of it. I told him my favorite song is his song "What's on Your Mind," and I said that's my favorite song ever. And he goes, "Really, that song?" Huh. That's all he said.
Well, that'll deflate your balloon, right?
But I mean, have you ever, I know you in the industry and stuff, so you meet celebrities and that, but have you ever met somebody in your time with Symphony X and in the rock world that you were like, oh my God, I can't believe I just met this person?
Well, Elvira.
Elvira, nice. Was she playing a groupie or is she just at the show?
They have these conventions here in Jersey. These like horror conventions, and a lot of times she'll come and do them. And I was just like, wow, this girl is so gorgeous. I can't believe I couldn't even talk. I just took a picture, and that was that. Ran.
Right.
That's really cool though. That's how it was with Ace Frehley and me. I said one line and then the guy's like, okay, move it along, buddy.
Yeah, next.
Like, wait a minute, I just paid fucking $160 to get this shit.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I remember we went to the Rock and Brews debut here in St. Louis, and Gene was there, and all kinds of other people were there, and a couple of the band members were there, and I posed and did a picture with them and had my KGF Rock bumper sticker, and I handed it to Gene, and Gene just kind of looked at it and went, what the fuck is this, right? And he hands it off to his girl like this and just says like this, and then to top it all off, dude, what he does is hilarious. He fucking reaches in his pocket and pulls out a handy wipe and wipes his hands and throws it away. I said, motherfucker, man. What a dick. Yeah.
Oh my God! One of them little people touched me.
Yeah. What the hell is this? Yeah. So it was a lot of fun.
That's cool though, Elvira. I mean, she is. I remember watching her in I think it was the '80s or something. She used to have like a late night. She played horror movies and shit. That was some great stuff. And she looked good too when she wasn't playing Elvira.
Well, she had her own show for a while, didn't she? Where she introduced movies, B movies, and horror movies and stuff like that.
Is there an echo in here? I literally just said that.
Oh, is that what you said? Yeah, that's what she did. I mean, and she's tight though, man. She's got breasticles, man, from here to hell. Oh, yeah. I mean, she is just like a hottie, and she still looks great. Have you seen a recent picture of her?
Yeah, she looks. She really looks good. Great, even without all the makeup.
Yeah, she's in her 70s. You know.
Yeah, she does, and she's one of those people that are like she's iconic. She'll always be known, like as a celebrity. Oh, I remember Elvira. Just kind of like I don't want to put them on the same playing field, but like I will always remember Ernest from
Ernest,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I always remember him because he was just iconic, and I would probably he's dead now, but I would love to meet him when he was still alive. He would have been a cool guy.
Yeah, he was a trip. He was a trip.
And the coolest thing about him,
yeah.
but the best thing about him, Jim Varney was trained like in a Shakespearean thing. He was like a real actor, and he wasn't like some goofball.
Wherefore art thou, Romeo? Yeah, he had that voice. So Mike, you did one show. Is that all you ended up doing on that?
Yeah, I think I think I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do it.
Right.
I just know that if I went on the road, if getting in a van, going on the road, carrying all your stuff day and night, I just think it would have been an anticlimactic experience.
Sure.
So I think just to like do a big show in your own hometown. The place is packed. Everybody's excited. I think was a really good way to introduce the band, rather than slugging it out on the road.
Right.
And I don't know who's gonna come see me, here and there, and it's
right.
So I just kind of decided like that was the best thing. I think if we get offered some festivals where there's built-in crowd, I'd be totally into doing that though.
Right, like a state fair or a county fair or something.
Oh, not like even that. Like you're getting on those metal fests, like you said. There's those people are there regardless that you're there or not. Now you get to open other people's ears. That's a good idea too. I think the festival circuit is the only thing that is good for an up and coming band or a band that the masses haven't heard. And
right.
I just got to ask one question though: who's singing on the third album?
The third album is the same guy as the first two, Alan Tecchio.
Awesome. That's
awesome.
What I was hoping for. Because
awesome. Yeah, Alan's
love
cool.
His voice. That I
yeah,
really
he's
love
got an awesome voice. And we've had him on the show as well, and the connection with you guys is just awesome. Symphony X is just, above and beyond, and then to take it into this next level with Silent Assassins is just phenomenal. So the next album, have you got a couple of songs in the can yet, or have you even started yet on it?
Well, all the songs are written, and so the drums are being recorded now. So the drums are almost done,
okay.
And then then I'll start doing the guitar and then the bass and all that kind of stuff. And I think I should be I'd probably be finished by the end of the summer, I think.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Any guest appearances on the new one at all?
I think I'm going to keep it the same guys that were on the second one because I really liked everyone's performance and I was really happy with everybody. So
it sounds great. The first one I listened to when I first got it for like forever, and then when I got the second one, I was like, I really like this one better, and then it almost made me sad because now I'm like, it did. In a way, because sometimes, this one's better. Now I can't listen to this one. You can listen to both of them, right. And like the other day I was listening to. I had my music player on shuffle, and in my playlist I put my metal playlist on, and one of your tracks came on, and then right after it, Iron Maiden, The Trooper came on. I'm like, that's fucking awesome,
Wow. Right.
Because it fits. You guys fit with classic metal and with modern metal, in my opinion.
Yeah. And a lot of your songs tell a story too, Mike. And so I was listening to Prodigy and the last song I did, The Outsider, and they kind of do tell a story.
Yeah, that's part of the thing that I like to do. I like to tell a story and have like the music kind of be like the soundtrack for the story. So you get kind of like, so every song is its own little adventure. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I was trying to go for a sound that was classic metal, of course, like the great Iron Maiden, and also that could where you could listen to modern bands and still listen to my stuff too.
Sure.
So that was the goal. Definitely based in the old school, with some modern stuff going on too, maybe with some keyboards and things
Right.
like that. But always keeping it raw and in your face and guitar driven. Because
and it worked. You did it. I mean, you captured it perfectly, especially on the last one. And I really can't wait for the next one to come out. But here's the coolest thing about Iron Maiden is you being a bass player. Steve Harris is probably the greatest metal master of all time.
He, boy, when I first heard Steve Harris, I couldn't believe how fast his right hand was.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It was like unbelievable. And he would just have the coolest bass lines, and he was the principal songwriter, and he was such an influence on me. It was unbelievable. And
I know I hate when people say the classic Iron Maiden. No, I'm old. No, like it bothers me now that Iron Maiden's classic.
But you know what? They still put out great records. They still tour.
Sure.
I mean, they're really workhorses, man.
Oh, they are. And if you went to an Iron Maiden show in the mid '80s, there was a couple thousand people there. Now you go to one and you're like, you better get your ticket ahead of time, man. I mean,
right.
They play to more people now than ever.
Oh yeah, it's selling out. So
it is, and I always admired. When like the bass player or the drummer or whatever, the people that are normally not in the front of metal take the reins like that, and because you get music from a different perspective. I think that's why Iron Maiden was so iconical, because that bass player was writing those grooves and stuff, and it evolved from that, not the guitar player doing it, and I think that was great in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the big bands, I guess, that were around at that time, you think Ozzy Osbourne or Judas Priest. It was all, guitar-driven stuff. Sure. And here's this guy just playing these bass riffs, and the guitars are following him, and it was just unbelievable. And the energy and of the songs, it was like, I'm sure you guys agree, it was like nothing you ever heard before.
Oh, it was so great, because I knew they were a good band when my father told me they were shit. So I knew right then they were going to be something to, around forever. That's how I gauged my musical ability. My father was a musician, but he never liked anything that came out in the 80s. Nothing.
He didn't like anything in the 80s, huh?
Except for Stevie Ray Vaughan, maybe. But besides that, Eric Clapton was like the end-all person in his life, and I'm like, Dad, listen to Steve. He's shit. What? No. You're not even listening, So that's how I knew Iron Maiden was going to be good.
So what was your in the 80s? Who was your icon? Who was the guy that you followed the most in the 80s?
Well, of course, you had Steve Harris. I loved and still love Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath. I really followed Joey DeMeo from Manowar.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that was another band where the bass was way out front. Mm-hmm. And he did some really cool things. And I also was a big fan of Geddy Lee from Rush. But going back to something we were just talking about, my very, very first influence was Gene.
Really? Okay, cool.
Gene Simmons.
Yeah, he had some, in the 1970s, he had some really cool bass lines.
He did, yep.
That weren't too complicated, and you could learn them, and you could kind of learn how to walk the bass a little bit. I guess in the 80s he got into acting and he didn't care anymore. But he had some great stuff in the 70s.
Right. Well, yeah,
Right.
that's that. But speaking of Kiss, not getting off subject, that's the thing that pissed me off about them is they started off in the '70s as this great band of musicians that weren't the best but had feel and
Yeah.
they played, and then they went commercial, and it was like, yeah, I'm not listening to you no more. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't need Kiss stickers. I want Kiss music. I mean, that's how it became. But I
Right.
think
Exactly.
sometimes when you put too much thought into the business side of rock, then you lose your true music, like feel and love for it, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. You lose that raw edge, it becomes a business, and then you don't really care anymore. And granted, I mean, I think there's a lot of great Kiss albums from the '80s too. But yeah, it just became like a business, and you could tell that they just didn't really care all that much about the fans anymore.
No, you're right. And I was like, back in the '70s, everybody had their person for Kiss. I've been, and I always will be, the Ace Frehley guy. I got an Ace tattoo. I wear a sterling silver Ace Frehley necklace. I mean,
Wow.
he's like what just made me like rock music. Like, my dad, if my dad said something was good, I wouldn't listen to it until later on. But my mom got me into Kiss and Black Sabbath and Jethro Tull. I don't know how that one got in there, but so I knew the difference now that there was other music out there. And then when I started like going from band to band, I always went back to, that sounds like Ace Frehley. Oh, they stole that from Ace Frehley. In the '80s, I think Ace Frehley influenced more players in the '80s than any other guitarist in the '70s. I really do.
Well, he had this. His lead guitar style was like, it was so slick, and he's one of the few guitar players where you could kind of sing his leads.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree, and I think that's what they lost when he left. I know there was a lot of bullshit with drugs and alcohol with him. I know he wasn't the business type guy. He was the rock side guy.
Yeah. Exactly.
He was. I mean, come on.
He's the one who made Kiss rock. I mean, no question about it. No question about it.
But bass players too, like in the '80s. Not to cut you off, Free. Sorry, but I had a thought, and I just had to get it out.
That's okay. Get it out.
I tried to play bass. I know a little bit. I'm nowhere near good, but the guy that I idolized in the '80s, and it's stupid, but it was Nikki Sixx, and I don't know why, because he's not that good. But I think it was just his presence. How he carried himself. And
he had a great presence on stage, and you know what? He was a fantastic songwriter.
Yeah, really was. Absolutely. And I think, he was good too. And I really did like the bass lines from Guns N' Roses. Duff was, he's not appreciated enough.
No, he's definitely not. I mean,
he had
go ahead.
Great bass lines he had. And his sound was actually really cool too. His actual sound, the tone.
Yeah. For me, here's my musical legacy. I went from Kiss to like, okay. These guys are good. Oh, 87 came, Guns N' Roses. All right, we're back, It was just like, that's how my musical progression was. And then I listened to, in like the late 80s, I was a late bloomer on this, but I listened to Kill 'Em All by Metallica, and I was like, whoa, and that's when my metal years really started,
Right.
And I realized that music didn't have to be just a 2-3 minute thing about sex. It could be a story, the Trooper fucking, real stories to be told. And it was almost like a movie, You close your eyes and you can imagine it. No more, let's put the X in sex now. Let's, I mean, it just became, all of a sudden it was like a door open. Metal opened my mind to so much more. And people always put metal down. Listen to it, you morons. Really listen to it. I mean, there's bands out there that are amazing. Listen to it.
Yeah, listen. There's tremendous musicians that I think maybe a lot of mainstream musicians, they don't take the time to listen to the metal musicians because of maybe just stuff that they've heard without even listening to the music. Just maybe hearsay that they hear. Oh, these guys, they just sing about Satan or something,
Right.
But there's some incredible heavy metal musicians and incredible lyricists as well. And vocalists ridiculously good too.
Ridiculous. I mean, you're not even joking. I'll tell you what. There's nothing funnier than when you can go see Symphony X and see their singer, and then go see a Christmas musical and see him there too.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you know, that is how great of a singer he is, and there's so many metal singers like Alan in your band. Holy shit. His voice just, he forces you to listen to the song.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hear his voice, you're like, oh, okay, let me hear for a little bit now. Let me listen. And then you're in. You're in, So, and that's what your metal's all about. Metal is very underrated.
Yes. It doesn't get the attention that it deserves, but
Well, I think it did at one time
sure.
get all the attention, and it did. But like everything else, America's weaning itself off of metal, and pop and country have basically, I don't know, overshadowed
there's
metal.
no difference there. Pop and country, there's no difference.
No, there is no difference. But
It's the same music now. I mean, really.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is, or it's southern rock is what it's become. That's country.
But you know what, Free Ride? Heavy metal was never huge. Now, what they considered heavy metal might have been huge. Like Guns N' Roses is not heavy metal, but the masses considered them to be heavy metal.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the bands like we were talking about Iron Maiden and whatever.
Or even Whitesnake, even though they wrote ballads, they still had that gritty, heavy metal fuzz that a lot of the bands did. And the reason why, part of the reason why Ozzy left Black Sabbath is because he wanted to go more toward. He stayed semi heavy metal, but it was still ballads and songs you could actually understand the lyrics to, and a cleaner lead guitar. And that's what he wanted. And instead of that fuzz that you got from Black Sabbath, that fuzz bass that was so popular for such a long time, he said, no, wait a minute, maybe I can do better than that. And I think that's part of the reason why Ozzy left. I think I can do better than that as a solo artist.
Or it could have been that he was such a drunk they didn't want to deal with him anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk shit about Ozzy because Ozzy's great and Ozzy's awesome. But the two people that got Ozzy famous on his own is his wife and Randy Rhoads, in my opinion, because his wife took care of everything, business and oriented, and Sharon Osbourne. And then Randy Rhoads was just like, where the fuck did this dude was in Quiet Riot? Are you kidding me? I mean, he was so different. And I mean, you listen to, Diary of the Madman. I get chills still to this day listening to that song. I mean, it's awesome.
Those two albums, those two Ozzy albums are easily one of the two best heavy metal albums.
Sure.
Right?
They really set the stage for what metal should be in the 80s. And then he dropped the ball really after, the devastation with Randy Rhoads for a little bit. And, 86, I think he was even wearing makeup. What the fuck, Ozzy?
Yeah, well, he always wore makeup, even when he was with Black Sabbath.
Yeah, but
he
I'm talking about
mascara.
Hair and shit in the 80s. No,
Yeah. I can't fucking hear you. I can't fucking hear you. That motherfucker, you can't understand a word he says when he does an interview. I'd like to have him on my show for an interview. Wouldn't that be fun, Guido?
We can't do it because we're not seen, so the subtitles can't be shown.
I see. Is that what it is?
Because he'll be like, hey, Ozzy, what'd you do today? And then, okay. Could you imagine?
I was on the British side of things, and that's Ozzy.
We should get an interview set up where Ozzy interviews Bob Dylan.
Oh yeah. Would you be able to understand any of it at all?
That would be so awesome.
But now to Bob Dylan's defense, ever since he put a hearing aid in, his speech has become much better.
Now nobody wants to interview him anymore.
Nobody wants to talk to him anymore because he fucked up so many interviews. But it's a little bit late now. He speaks much better now than he did a while ago. It was his hearing. He was losing his hearing, and he couldn't talk. He was going deep. So
Hey,
Uh-huh.
that's a big part
hey,
of it.
Mike, what do you think the worst? I'll tell you mine first. The worst year of hard rock metal was. I think it was like 85, 86 when that glam movement came in. I can remember Gene Simmons looking like fucking Maud.
Oh my God. I think the scariest is when they were trying to make Dio dress like
Oh
that.
my God, yes. Oh, I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah.
In
As soon
makeup.
No.
as I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I was in a music store in 1986. I'm flipping through the albums, and there it is. The first Poison album. I'm
Oh
like, oh,
God.
boy, we're finished.
Oh my God, the face makeup
Yeah,
and the whole
yeah.
9 yards.
I
Uh,
think that as soon as that hit, it was all over.
yeah.
And it sold like 2 million copies, man. I mean, it
Well,
wasn't like that's the crazy part
yeah,
about
but if
it.
you
You
go to
know,
their concerts, if you went to the concert, it was nothing but guys. It was like a sausage fest. I mean, seriously, there was nothing but guys at their show. And
not anymore. Now you go to
Yeah.
their
no,
show, it's the girls that were there in the '80s trying to wear the same thing that they wore then,
then
and
right, right.
yeah.
But back
But
then, it was all guys going to their shows, and it was kind of fascinating.
there was some decent bands that came out of that glam band thing,
I
and
agree.
I
I
for
agree.
one will always defend the band Cinderella, and I mean I think they were miscategorized. I think the Scorpions, Tesla, all those bands were
Scorp-
miscategorized.
oh
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, definitely. Well, they
Yeah,
didn't wear
definitely.
makeup though. Yeah, go ahead.
Cinderella was great. I really liked their music, and Tesla too.
Mhm.
Fantastic music.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Miscategorized in my opinion. They got
yeah,
they people don't like them today because they're still associated with that glam rock stuff.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
and White
and
Snake, White
well,
Snake,
the
all
White
them
Snake
guys.
was I wanted to be David Coverdale. I really did.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Hey, is
so
that your
wanted to
man
be-
crush? Is that your man crush?
No, that's still Prince, but
Oh,
you
that's
know.
still Prince. Yeah, he had
Yeah.
a thing for Prince. Yeah,
Oh, Prince was. Come on, how can you not have a thing for a guy that can play like 82 instruments?
right, right. I mean, the guy is
Uh,
he's a
Super
phenom, that's
talented,
for sure.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if
yeah.
you listen to some of Prince's older music, like his second album, there's a song on there called Bambi. It's a fucking rockin' guitar-driven song. People forget that he could play rock too.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's nothing like when Prince was healthy and he looked good when he did back in the early 2000s. He looked really good, and when he did the Super Bowl, he looked phenomenal. And it's a damn shame. He another one
Yeah.
goes too young. Another one goes
Yeah,
way too
but
early.
you know what? I think people expect our celebrities to live forever. You know,
Yeah, what is Mike? What is the thing? What do you think? I'm going to get serious here for a second, Mike and Guido. Hang on just a second for me. What do you think of all the suicide shit going on in rock and roll today? What is up with that?
It's such a tragedy, because you think of these rock stars as having everything they could ever want, and yet they're still suffering from depression so bad where they would take their life.
Right.
And it's it's so hard to understand, and it's so sad. We think our heroes we think are going to live forever, and it really. I'm sure you guys agree. It's such a shot to the heart when we lose one of our guys.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
well, it is because I'll tell you what. Like, there's Chris Cornell. It was to me an amazing singer, and there's some of his music that got me out of tough times and stuff. And then for that person that wrote that song to end their life because they're sad, it's like, wow, that song
What
really
the hell? Yeah.
was true in his mind. He really was that depressed, and I don't get it either. I mean, you're right, but it doesn't even just happen today. I remember when the Brad Delp from Boston committed suicide.
Yeah,
Oh,
I had no
man.
idea.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you got a voice of an angel. What's going on?
Yeah, it's something that's just so mind blowing. Yeah, Brad Delp, who arguably could have been the best rock singer ever. Arguably, I mean,
without a doubt. Yep.
Yeah.
and in one of the best bands ever.
Mhm.
And you can't understand how someone with all this would take his life, and it's just terrible, and it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, it
Right.
does.
It's one of those things where like you said, they've got everything in the world, man. Anything they want, anytime. They shall not need nor want anytime, and yet they either overdose on drugs or they commit suicide. And I think overdose on drugs is more of a suicide than anything else. But these guys were last year and the year before they were dropping like flies.
They were, and the thing that devastates people is, like I said before, people get a emotional connection with them. When Scott Weiland left, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, like, because he was keeping, for me, Rock going with the stuff that he was doing, you know. And I thought, is Rock dead now? You know. And then it was Chris Cornell, and then it was Chester Bennington. I'm like, holy shit, these guys were the shit of the '90s. They were the hugest stars of the '90s and early 2000s. You know. It's too young for these guys, in my opinion. But
I wonder if part of the reason is, you know, because at one point you're on top of the world, and then, you know, the trends change, the bands change, and then you're just kind of there, you know.
And you don't have any new ideas.
And
you know,
but see, that's what I don't get is, like, you're probably right. But why were the guys from the 70s and 80s that all of a sudden their career was over, why aren't they killing themselves? Why is it only the guys from really the 90s doing it? That's a discussion that I like to have, because it's like, you know, a lot of bands from the 80s did. Y&T still thinks they're famous, but no, you're not. You know, and they're out.
You're done. Yeah.
You know, but their mentality is that they still are, so they're okay. But these bands from the 90s almost can't grip with the of being normal now. Oh, we got to be normal now? We can't do this? You know, I don't know. I mean, that's just a thought. But it seems like the 90s guys are dying more than 80s or 70s guys of unnatural causes, you know, of not natural causes.
Really interesting.
Well, shit, Keith Richards, I saw a meme the other day, and it said it was from Willie Nelson, and he said, you know, the youth of today needs to be careful on what they're doing, because they're going to fuck the future up for me and Keith Richards.
I think guys like Willie Nelson, he's going to go quietly. He really is. He's going to go quietly, but he still does his shows. He's still doing shows. The guy's a
like
maniac.
Country or not, you got to give the guy credit. And anybody that can play a guitar and wear a fucking hole in it has got my vote.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, you know, and then Keith Richards, you know, he's death. He is like the Grim Reaper. He's dead, but they've given him this. They had this technology to bring him back to life, and he paid a shitload of money for it. But you know what? He's like a vampire, man.
Well, they said when he was on the set of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie that in makeup they didn't have to do much.
No, they don't have to do nothing. He's a leather skin.
I mean, and they're on the road again. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
doing another tour. And it's not even a goodbye tour. It's like, we'll see you again next time, too, motherfucker.
Oh,
yeah. You know, there's nothing like...
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine being that age, Mike, and touring?
You know, it's weird. Mick Jagger is the same age as my mother. And so that's how I kind of gauge it.
Right.
This guy, he's just in great shape.
Yeah.
Well,
he has,
here's the thing different with the Stones touring Free Ride against somebody else in their 70s touring. Like, the Stones have so much money that they just fly from one place to the other, sleep in 5-star hotels, and there's no unload in the truck. There's no...
there's none of that. There's none of that. Yeah. They don't have to worry about the bills. They don't have to worry about nothing. You know, all they got to worry about is watching their ass when they get attacked by fucking groupies. And even the groupies aren't chasing them anymore like they used to. You know, they don't have to do that shit no more. You think?
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good point. I think, they live in the lap of luxury. All they just got to do is just get on the stage for an hour and a half, 2 hours, play, and then they probably have a few days off. And then do it again, you know.
And they don't need the money, so they don't need to go on a 175 night tour. You know, I mean,
no, they can take a break in between shows, right?
And they probably do.
Yeah, I'm sure they take a week or so, because I've seen Mickey on stage, and he gives you 110%, and I don't give a fuck what city he's in. I really don't. He
Well,
gives
I don't think
110%.
they'll come to Buffalo, New York, and stay a week. I don't know why anybody fucking would, but
No, nobody's gonna
you know,
say. But if they
but they
come to,
always come to Buffalo, always.
well, then they'll go to New York City and shack out there after the show, dude. I mean, it's only 2 hours away, if that. It's only 45 minutes by plane.
Right by plane, exactly.
I was going to say it's
45
not no
from
damn
Buffalo
2
to New
hours
York.
away.
Well, by car it is. By car it
Yeah.
is. It's 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Oh
right?
no, it's like 8 hours.
8 hours from Buffalo to New York City in the car.
Yeah, I
had
live on
no
the
idea.
border of Pennsylvania.
I had no idea. Is traffic that fucked up?
Oh, it's that far. It's 400 and some miles or
Oh,
something
is
like
it that
that.
far? I didn't think it was that big.
It's a
Yeah.
big state, New York.
Oh,
Really
I guess
big.
it is. I guess it
And
is.
I live like right on the border of PA, so I'm almost all the way to the other state. You know.
Oh, I see. You're almost in PA, I guess. I
Yeah.
guess.
So, and
Yeah.
I'm like 500 and some or something from where Mike is in New Jersey. You know, I mean that's I'm just as close to you. No, he's in Missouri. I'm pretty far from him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the thing is you don't realize how big certain states are. Freaking, New York State is not just New York City, and everybody thinks that it is. It's
Right.
Right.
We are huge. We got farms, and we got country, and we got all kind of things.
You got it all, huh?
Same
Yeah.
as New Jersey does. And
It basically goes right to Canada. You could go
Sure,
to
right.
New York, Canada.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I could go where I live. I can go fit 10 minutes to Canada and 35 minutes to PA.
Wow.
So,
That's how close
Yes.
you are, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm just right there. It's so cool. And you know what the funny part about it is? I never go to either, really. Because,
Yeah.
like, everybody
Stay
goes,
home.
oh, I got to come see Niagara Falls before I die. I'm like, really? I've seen that thing like 80 times. It's fucking wonder.
So
You know.
do you go down and do in New Jersey? I don't know what the tax laws are there. You're in New Jersey. Do you go out of state to go buy some of the things that you buy, or are they pretty cool in Jersey as far as taxes and that's concerned?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool, I guess overall.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
I
pump
have
your
to
own
say.
gas in Jersey, can you?
That's the only weird thing. You can't pump your own gas. So it's like
What
I
the
grew
fuck?
up not knowing how to pump gas, and then I'm like, I go to another state, and I'm like, oh, holy crap! What do I do?
What do I?
Oh, that's weird. I never knew that. And
Yeah.
plus, you're close to New York. Why the fuck would anybody go to New York for tax breaks? There ain't no such thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
New York's
no, you don't go to New
worse.
York.
Yeah.
Well, so
Yeah.
where in Jersey? Whereabouts in Jersey are you?
Probably, kind of to the north a little bit.
Okay.
So probably if I was, I'm maybe about 40 minutes from the New York State border.
Oh,
so
New York State line.
I'm kind of in
Okay.
northern Jersey.
That's not
Northern
bad.
Yeah,
part
it's
of
nice.
Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, I love New Jersey. I was there before, and I'm Italian, and there's a lot of Italians in New Jersey, so I felt really good there.
Yeah. A lot of Italians, a lot of great Italian food.
Yes, very good, and of course that's what we all do as Italians. That's why we're all fat in midlife, because we
Yeah.
just fucking eat all day. It's true. I mean, I'll sit here and even as I'm doing shows, and I got all kind of snacks around me, and then after the show's done, I look and I'm like, "You fat fucker," and it's bad, man. But the food being good in New Jersey, and I think. Everybody can argue who the most famous person from New Jersey is, and I know he's really not from New Jersey, but I think Tony Soprano is the most famous New Jersey person.
Yeah, he's famous. I guess here in New Jersey we always argue. Okay, well, who's more famous, Springsteen or Bon Jovi?
Right, but then you forget about Mr. Frank Sinatra. He was from Hoboken,
Frank.
so. I mean, there's famous people from everywhere, and the funniest part is like when somebody gets famous from Buffalo, it's like, oh my god, oh cool, yeah, and they always got to announce them. I don't understand this, like the Goo Goo Dolls, and from Buffalo, New York, the Goo Goo Dolls. Why you don't say from anywhere else? Why do they always got to say that?
Yeah.
Are we like special or something? I don't know, but we don't agree with New York, Buffalo. We feel we're like different, maybe that's why.
Yeah, there are a lot of Trump
Get some-
lovers out there in Buffalo. There's a lot of Trump lovers out there in Buffalo.
Well, actually, there is. In the region I live in, about Clarence, New York, is the highest population of Republicans in the whole state. The rest of the state is blue, except for where I live.
Population 12. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And you guys get incredible amounts of snow.
Oh yeah. But to us, it's nothing. People
Yeah.
are like, we shut the city down. What? I could sweep that shit off with my broom. What are you talking about? You shut the city down.
we got about a quarter of an inch today, and the day before on Saturday we were supposed to get more snow, and it never showed up. It never materialized. We were supposed to get 7 inches of snow, and it never happened. So I wish I had a job like the weatherman where I could be wrong. 40%
See,
of the time.
we in New York,
keep your
in
job.
Buffalo. Yeah, right. And keep your job. In Buffalo, to us, when someone says, "Oh, a snowstorm's coming tonight," that just meant the coke dealer was in the bar. That's all. Because we gave a shit. It was always a snowstorm coming.
Right.
There's barbecue and that stuff.
Yeah. But, well, in the music scene in the 90s was crazy with shit like that. And, I've been in the music scene forever. And that's one thing that I think music could do without is the rampant drug use, because people are dying from that, and unless you're, like you said, you're Keith Richards, then I guess you can fucking, I don't know, do whatever you want, because he doesn't seem, like Free Ride said, he doesn't seem to, like, I don't even think I've ever heard of him being in the hospital ever.
No.
Well, he's been in the hospital before. He's definitely been in the hospital.
Blood transfusion to get his new Illuminati blood, and
Yeah, I heard that too. He used to get his blood changed.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Who knows what those stories are true? Just like when Ozzy bit the dove's head off, he didn't really mean to do it. Yes, you fucking did. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
he
bit the head off of a bat, didn't he?
He didn't mean to do. He thought that one was fake because he had to get shots in his belly for that one, for rabies.
Yeah, see, that'll teach you to be an idiot,
Right. Well, a lot of people have done stupid shit like that. I think one of my favorite rock stories is Dee Snider said that he was on stage playing somewhere like Germany or something, and people were throwing shit at the stage at him. This was in the early days. And he said all of a sudden he got hit with something. He looks down, and it was a fucking piece of shit. Someone threw a turd at him and hit him right in the face with it. He said he jumped off the freaking stage and beat the shit out of the dude. And it took for Lemmy to say Twisted Sister was cool for the UK to like Twisted Sister. When Lemmy gave his approval, they liked Lemmy was the shit, dude. Lemmy, I mean, if you listen to Lemmy, like his other bands that he was in pre Motorhead, which when he was in Psychic, like it was kind of progressive metal and shit or whatever, he's friggin' pretty good. When his name was Ian too, or it is Ian, but he went. He went by that, and then all of a sudden he became Lemmy, and he was the most iconic metal figure of all time, arguably.
Oh yeah, man. He was in what? Hawkwind?
Hawkwind, that's the name.
Yeah. He was in Hawkwind. Absolutely, great band,
and it was good. And he is funny because they played some easy music. Maybe it wasn't so easy, but it wasn't so difficult, and yet so many people got into it.
Right.
Yeah, he was unbelievable, man. He'd be truly missed.
Yeah, he will. And I love the fact that he made some money and he never got that shit cut off his face, because that was part of his, his look.
I know.
Some rock stars do that. They have some cosmetic surgery done, and like, you could totally tell, buddy. You're supposed to smile, and your lip, your face is supposed to move. But I think the worst one is Sylvester Stallone. What the fuck did you do to yourself, man? Now he always looks like he's surprised. He does. I don't know how he can act no more. No, Stallone. You're supposed to be sad here. I am.
I am. Yeah.
But here, I got a question. What was the first bass you ever bought? What brand?
Well, it's a company that I'm sure is gone by now. But one day, my father came home with a a bass, and the name on it was Univox. Remember that name?
Yes, I
Univox,
remember that.
yeah.
It's like they made TVs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And they actually, I guess they made a bass too. So I had this bass, and that's how I learned.
Wow.
You know, all
That's really cool.
Off this bass. My father got it at the mall.
Wow. Well, that's you know what? Who cares what you learn on? You know, it's the
Yeah.
I know people that, you know, their first guitars are like, oh, my dad bought me a Fender Telecaster, and they suck ass, you know. And then this kid that built a guitar in his basement is Eddie Van Halen. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as you learn how to play it. You know, that's the cool part. And I think the instrument industry is dying right now, isn't it?
The instrument industry is dying, and I think the reason is because it's sad to say, but there's just not enough guitar players anymore. And the reason I think I understand this is because I'm also a music teacher at a local school of rock here, and I teach there a few times a week. And there's really,
Cool.
you know, there's a couple kids that are decent, but it seems like the kids are much more interested in their phones than picking up a guitar.
Right.
And they have no patience to practice.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, when I was in high school, everybody was playing.
Yeah.
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 Now it seems like hardly anybody's playing, and these big chains like Guitar Center and Sam Ash and stuff, they're struggling to stay in business because they don't even carry any like really high end guitars anymore.
No, they don't. You're right.
It's just cheap knockoffs because nobody's even buying them.
Well, the Guitar Center over here in Buffalo, a quarter of it is like dedicated to like DJ equipment. You know, I mean, they're even getting away from instruments altogether. I mean, I remember my first guitar. It was a PV. It was a shitty PV though. You know, it was like a Series 10. But I thought that shit was like I had, you know, Ace Frehley gave me the guitar or something. You know, it was my pride and joy. You know, and
then there's guys like me that never learned to play an instrument. I never had the inclination. I didn't have the savvy to play music or to even write music. But it still drew me. You know what I'm saying? The reason the reason why we have KGFRocks.com is because of my love for music. And, you know, so I'm going to be honest here, some music has saved my life. And so there's that time of day, and you play that one song and say, "Fuck yeah, that's a great song." So that's why I am into what I'm into. It's just the music. But you as a player and you as a writer of music, in the beginning of your time doing that, have you changed from that time? I mean, did you go with the trends back then, or did you try to step out of the box back when you first started playing, you know, I can say professionally?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger and started playing, you know, when you're younger, you want to emulate all your favorite bands and all your favorite players, you know. So when I was writing, you know, when I would write songs, you say, oh, yeah, that sounds just like Black Sabbath, and that sounds just like Judas Priest. And, you know, that was cool. Mm-hmm. But, you know, as I got older, when you get older, you start to open your mind to other stuff. Absolutely. You know, you'll listen to, maybe when you were younger, you say, oh, nah, man, that's gay. I don't want to listen to that. But when you get older, you listen to more stuff. And all that stuff influences you and makes you a better player and a better songwriter. Mm. So as I got older, instead of only listening to heavy metal, I would listen to, you know, I would say, wow, look at these chord changes that Billy Joel is doing. It's brilliant. Let me try to put that into like a heavy metal song. And so as I got older, you know, I could not have done the Silent Assassins in the 80s because I just my mind wasn't open enough and I wasn't seasoned enough. Right. I would say, you know, it took till at least it would have been I couldn't have done anything probably at least until the early 2000s, where I felt I was really seasoned and I was open to everything, and that at that point my songwriting really came together.
Right. And that's really cool because, you know, you didn't want to just put some shit out. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people that just for, I want to put a record out, and they shouldn't, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I think
go ahead.
I think the biggest mistake that a lot of these rock stars make is because of their ego. Once they turn pro, they stop listening to any more bands that are coming out, and they stop listening to any more musicians that are coming out. So because of their ego, their songwriting will eventually just get stale, and it will just say, oh, wow, this is the same thing over and over and over. Now,
It's
sometimes that works, but I'd say more than not, it doesn't work.
Right. Well, I today, if you listen to most of modern rock stations, every song sounds the same. I mean, they have the same compressed production and the same bullshit. It's like, I like you guys are not like that. You know, I mean, it's like you could be what today is, but you don't have to be a carbon copy of what today is.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there's a roadmap there. Pull some Black Sabbath in there. Pull some Dio in there. You know, I mean, that's what makes good music to me, I think, is utilizing that whole map, man. Get it all in there.
Even throw a cover on an album. Do a cover tune on an album. I mean, you know, a lot of bands, you know, they'll play all their own good stuff, and then they'll do a cover tune. Just Sound of Silence, for example. I mean, who would have thought that would have been? I mean, that song was revitalized. It was reinvented. And
Great
vocals.
Awesome
I mean,
verse.
Oh, David Draymond's got great. I mean, he's another one of those guys that are good and nobody knows it. You know, I mean, it's like, it's like, wow, listen to him. And you know, a lot of times they're like, I don't like a lot of politic rock sometimes, but sometimes it is needed. You know, and to make people listen. Like I'll listen to Rage Against the Machine. I won't really listen to the words, but I love the music. You know, and
those guys had so much energy. Oh my God.
It was
in your face.
It was amazing. I get like, you know, the first time I heard them, I was like, who the fuck is this? I mean, it was like, you know, it changed my mind. Like, I was one of those guys that when the 80s ended, it's like, oh my God, music's going to suck. And then I got a few gems. We got like Pantera. Oh, cool. Okay, you know, and I got Rob Zombie because I love Rob Zombie. Just maybe not so much his music, but his whole, just the way he presents himself, everything. And then there was some shit, but there was a few really good gems in the early 90s that came out. You know, and my favorite thing of the early 90s is, and a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I love John Bush Anthrax. Love it. I mean, I just thought that Anthrax said, okay, we're going to strip away the 80s Anthrax and come back with John Bush and be more, they were heavier in my opinion during that time, you know?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely were heavier and more modern. Definitely.
Sure. Yeah, and it kicked ass. And I find out that I read this article where after Metallica's first album, James Hetfield really didn't want to sing, and they were going to get John Bush to replace him as singer. And John said, "No, I want to stay an Armored Saint." I don't know if that. Could you imagine John Bush being the singer of Metallica? I don't know if that would have worked, but I think it would have been fucking cool.
Yeah, and I heard the same story actually that he turned down Metallica, and I think he would have been a kick-ass singer, even though I like James Hetfield's voice.
Oh, I do too. But he was still like, I think he was not yet comfortable in his skin as singing, you know. And I think John
isn't that why he went to singing classes? He took classes.
He
went to school to learn how to sing. And
that was later on, though. That was like
Metallica
was already
second
famous.
Album,
they were already famous, and he did start taking like voice lessons just to and then he became a great singer. When he stopped like yelling, he became a great singer.
Yeah,
I agree.
Good ideas, vocal ideas.
Yeah, and when he changes things up, I mean, I think that he goes from, he does the register a lot better with his voice now, and then it complements the band better. I think the voice.
He does. Well,
Yeah.
he complements like the last album they did, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. It sounds like classic Metallica music with the new way James Hetfield sings, and I love it.
Yeah,
You know,
pretty good. Pretty
I
freaking
think
good.
it's great. I just saw them in concert this past year, and it's probably the 9th time I saw them, and they blew me away. I'm like, what? How the fuck do they keep getting better? You know, I mean, it's like every time I go, oh, I don't want to see them. I saw them this many times. I go see them, and I'm always impressed. It's
So,
amazing.
the last time I saw Metallica, Symphony X had got invited to play that big festival, that big metal festival they have in Montreal every year.
Okay.
And Metallica was headlining at the particular time. So we pulled up, we got to the area just as they were going on, and man, they were so good. It was just unbelievable how good they were, and the crowd was just going crazy.
Oh my God! I think they're really like have to be considered like our generation's like Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath or something. You know, I mean, because they're gonna always be known.
I think so too.
You know, and that's cool that you even played on the same bill as them. That's awesome. I would like to shit in the same bathroom as one of them one time. You know, I mean, that's cool. There you go. There's a cover you should do. Anesthesia, man. You know.
Oh yeah,
Anesthesia.
awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was like one of the most weirdest things. I was young, and when I heard that he got decapitated in a bus accident, I'm like, "What the hell is that? How?" You know, and that was devastating back then.
It was. I remember it. I remember hearing the news, and it was just around when you were starting to go back to school, and we were all just devastated because we all loved Metallica so much. Like they were our new heroes,
Right.
And but yeah,
They really did, though, Mike. They really changed fucking music.
I think they did.
I do, and I think they they knew that it was time for themselves to change and then change back. I mean, they didn't stay stale. You know, they went through that
And
hard rock phase for a little bit. We'll say,
the hard rock phase. And even though, I mean, I wasn't big fans of those Load albums, but
right?
the songs themselves were pretty damn good.
They
actually.
were, yeah. They actually were. Until It Sleeps is a really great tune, and then they got a lot of flack for those though, and they got the most flack was for cutting their hair. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people are just fucked up in the head. I mean, they're gonna knock anything.
I don't know if people thought they were like Samson. They cut their hair. They can't fucking play no more.
People can't stand success. They just can't stand a winner. They gotta knock it down every time you go around.
I think it's more that people don't like change.
Yeah.
It
could be a big part of it too.
This is my favorite band, and now you're playing music that I don't like. And it's so much instead of saying, "Oh, I'm glad you guys progressed or matured as a band," because let's face it, they are a better set of musicians now than they were when they started. And Mike can agree with me. Their current bass player is fucking amazing.
Oh, Robert Trujillo, he's fantastic. I love his playing.
Yeah. And he looks like a beast up there, man.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's so cool. I mean, he was a perfect replacement for Newstead, I think.
He really was. He sounds great, and I mean, they're just they're still fantastic, and I definitely will see him again and again and again.
Yeah. Now, would you jump on the bill if, like, I know you don't want to tour, but if James Hetfield said, "Hey, we want to take Silent Assassins on the road with us"?
Oh, absolutely!
Fuck yeah! He's taking free ride with him.
Yeah.
I'll quit my job for that tour.
Yes, Mr. Hetfield, whatever you want.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would too. I would if he said, "Hey, I just want you to introduce us every night." Fuck, I'm in, dude.
Oh my God!
I would do. I'll take the fucking Yugo car you got. Just let me follow.
Just let me follow you like Yugo.
But that's
the amount of exposure
Oh yeah, whole
Yeah,
shit.
the
Oh, yeah.
exposure would be unbelievable.
And not just like here, say any band toured with Metallica for their world tour, you would be seen so many countries by so many people. It would be almost impossible for people not to like you
Yeah.
everywhere. You know, I mean,
Right.
not everybody, but I'm sure people everywhere would like it. You know,
You would, yeah, your popularity would be, you'd be known. You know what I mean? And then you would be able to go out on a smaller tour by yourself. So yeah, I mean, they've taken out some great bands. Maiden has taken out some great bands. So I'm glad that these bands do that.
yeah, me too. And you know, and the like when the Guns N' Roses tour just went on, everybody that they announced were coming with them. Well, I'm like, what? Like I saw Guns N' Roses with the band live. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? They're not even the same kind of band. You know,
That's
I
what
thought
they
Guns,
want, though. They want dichotomy. They want a difference.
but I thought
it-
Guns N' Roses would have been better putting new bands with them.
Yeah,
got
well,
this-
hey,
Yeah.
listen. The Monkees, Jimi Hendrix opened for the Monkees. So
Yep.
I don't know. They've been doing that for a long time. They
Yeah,
deliberately
but the Monkeys
set
weren't them
themselves
good
up.
boys that they
Yeah.
all thought they were. The
Yeah.
Monkeys were not good old boys, you know.
Yeah.
They dabbled in narcotics too, you know.
Right, right.
no.
I mean, Alice Cooper used to open for all the all the hot bands, all the bands. And he was never always a an opener. He was always an opener. He was never he very rarely did he do a tour when he was the head band.
What, Alice Cooper?
Alice
70s he
Cooper.
did.
Well, later on he did. No, in the very
Maybe,
beginning, man,
yeah.
I saw him with Humble Pie. I saw him with bands like the James Gang. And
But you know what? Things change. I mean, in the early
sure.
days, Kiss opened for Ted Nugent in 72, and then
Yeah.
after that, Ted Nugent opened up for Kiss on 7 different tours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know? So it's just things change. I think, like, you know, one day you could be nothing, and then all of a sudden you're the biggest shit in the world. And then with the music business, you could be nothing, everything, and then nothing again, just as quick as you got it.
yeah. No touring band, and you can attest to this, Mike. No touring band wants the opener to blow them off the fucking stage.
Oh, no.
You can never, you don't want to be too fucking good because they'll kick you off that tour in a New York fucking minute if you blow them off the stage. So,
Or if you're the
I've
Black
seen
Crows, here's
Yeah.
one. If you're the Black Crows and you diss the sponsorship that ZZ Top had, you're getting off that tour real quick.
Oh yeah, you'll get off that tour in a New York minute. Yeah, if you diss the sponsor, if you go after the sponsor.
Here's a story for you, Mike. I went to a Kid Rock concert a few years ago, and it was good, but it was only like $20. And I'm like, why the hell is it only $20? And then all of a sudden the stage opens up and this big fucking Chevy symbol comes from the top. And I'm like, oh, that's why it's only $20, you know?
Yeah, Chevy. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what do you think about that? I mean, you think it's part of the business or you think it's selling out?
I mean, I guess it's just part of the business now. You know what I mean? The music business is now, it seems to be at the worst point I've ever seen it from an artist perspective. I mean, the younger generation doesn't seem to understand that music is worth anything. They just they're just basically just stealing. They're illegally downloading your music. They're getting your music from streaming sites that really don't pay the band anything, and it's killing the band's sales. I mean, as far as Symphony X, I could tell you our sales were cut in half, and it's forcing the bands to all go out on the road. So now everybody's out on the road, and the fans only have so much money,
Right.
and they just kind of got to pick who they want to see because everybody's trying, and it's just at a really weird state. Record companies are all going out of business. Studios are going out of business. And it seems like there's no bands that are going to replace our heroes once they stop.
I agree with that. And you're right, the business in total, because the subsidiary businesses, the guys that make the CDs, the companies that make the CDs, the companies that, represent these, everybody's just dying. I mean, not just, it's a bit, the whole business itself is changing. After 100 years of being the same, it's almost non-existent to a point.
Yeah. I remember when Lars Ulrich was fighting against Napster.
Yep.
And, back then I really didn't understand why he was doing that.
Right.
But now I do. And he was right. And it's just now it's really, really hard to stay in the industry. Bands are just going broke left and right. And
Sure.
I don't know where it's going to go from here. All I can, but we all love making music. We're going to continue to do so, and hopefully it'll correct itself at some point.
Well, yeah, I think I agree with that statement too. And I think that the overseas music business is doing better than the American music business.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I go to Europe with Symphony X all the time, with Ross the Boss all the time, and the European crowd, they have not forgotten heavy metal. Like in the USA, they have one trend, and then you go to the next and the next, and metal was a trend. But in Europe, if they like you, they stick with you.
Right.
So like a band that maybe was big in the 80s here that we said, whatever happened to them? I guarantee you they probably still have a career in Europe. They just have to stay there.
Well, yeah. Well, look at Marty Friedman left the United States for Japan, and he's been living there. I mean,
bingo.
And he's like a rock god there.
Yeah. I think Mr. Big too is like huge over there.
Absolutely. And that's amazing. Like, I love Mr. Big, that band.
Oh yeah.
That band's so fucking underrated. I mean, those are some world-class musicians there.
Oh my God. Great songs, great players, just top shelf.
Absolutely. And they came at the wrong time too. That 90s grunge movie came in and just kicked the shit out of the music that I know and love,
Yeah.
And it went away quicker than it came in.
Oh my God, it was like gone in a second.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, even if you said, okay, let me try to give this music a chance, it was gone. And
Right.
Only a few bands from that grunge era, maybe Pearl Jam are still making money. I mean, that's the only one I can
They're
think
not
of.
even making money. They're on the classic rock stations now. They haven't done anything in 4 or 5 years now. When was the last time they put an album out?
Oh, who knows? They just put one out a couple years ago, I think. But I saw an interview one time. I forgot who it was, but the guy said the best thing that ever happened to Nirvana was Kurt Cobain killing himself because he made the band iconic.
Interesting.
And you think about it, it's like maybe he is right. I'm not saying that it's glad he killed himself, but if he wouldn't have, and he came out and all of a sudden the next Nirvana album didn't sell because that music was gone, how would he still be this big icon today?
Right.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
And I kind of agree. Had to say, at least think about that possibility. Like everybody always says, oh shit, the Beatles could have got back together. The Beatles should have got back together. The Beatles were never getting back together. And
never gonna happen.
And the only time people understood that is when John Lennon did die. But before that, there was always that hope that the Beatles would get back together. They fucking hated each other by the end.
Well, they were just, as Paul put it this way. He said, we were just fed up. We were done. And Paul wanted to tour, and John said, no way. And,
that's my 11-year-old daughter's favorite band, by the way.
Oh, well, good for her. She's got good taste. Well, listen, I'm going to do Hordes of Fire right now, and then we'll come back and say our goodnights, okay? But right now, we're going to go ahead and do Hordes of Fire, Mike Lepond. What a great guest, man. I got to tell you, man, this has been a lot of fun. We'll be right back. KGF Rocks. Mike Lepond, that kicked ass. That was good shit. That was a kick-ass song, dude.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that song kind of got that Judas Priest kind of straight ahead heavy metal.
Yeah, that's some all right stuff. Yeah, and Mike, I know. I want to make sure we got this straight now. When your new album comes out, we get the exclusive. We get to break it exclusive, right?
You got it.
Okay, we're the first ones on, man, right?
Awesome.
Yeah,
And we will
excellent.
definitely put them
And
all in our
we'll
rotation.
we'll bust it all, man. All into rotation. We'll put it on our website. We'll put it everywhere, man. It's what we're looking forward to. It's something to look forward to, and
I
I
appreciate all the support, guys. I really
oh
do.
no, not a problem, and we're glad to do it because man, these interviews are so much fun. You have no idea. I mean, it was a 2 hour show, dude. That's it. I mean, we shot the shit for 2 hours, and it was great. And it was nothing, no gotcha moments. It's just talking music, and that's always fun to do. And that's why we're here. And we appreciate you coming on the show tonight. You got anything else, Guido?
Now, I've just got to say we're going to bring it back before 3 years this time, and
Yeah,
I can't wait for the next album. So thanks
yeah.
a bunch, man.
Most
Hey,
excellent.
yeah,
Most
hook up.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, got to have the hookup, man, and you're it. So I'll tell you what, Mike, it's been a whole lot of fun chatting with you tonight, and in the new album, we're hoping next fall, early January. About when? When can you think you might be finished
Yeah,
with it?
I definitely want to get it out, in the early part of next year. Yeah.
Early part of next
cool,
year.
cool.
Okay, cool. That'll be great, and make sure you plastic wrap those CDs really good. All right, and then
So we'll have early next year. We'll have a new president and a new Silent Assassins album,
Wow, that's a lot.
or maybe
no,
not a new
no,
president.
no, we won't have a new president. No,
I mean, we'll have a
no.
presidential election. And a
Yeah,
Michael
we'll
Clark.
have the election, but I'm not worried about it. I ain't scared. They don't scare me. They don't scare me. So, anyways, Mike, I'm going to let you hang, and I appreciate you coming on the show tonight, man. We really do, and hope that all it goes well with you, and you just in your endeavors. We really appreciate it, man.
Guys, well, I had a great conversation. It was a blast. Can't wait to come back, and we'll talk some more stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, no question about it. No question about it. So I thanks a bunch for coming in tonight, and we'll go ahead and say goodnight right now. We're going to leave you on here with us, okay? That way we can all say goodnight at the same time. We're really close to the end of the show anyway. Folks, make sure you listen to all of our DJs at kgfrocks.com. This show will re-air Thursday night through kgfrocks.com, and will also be on our Facebook page, on the Conjugal Visit group page, also on the KGF Rocks page, and it'll also replay at YouTube, at our YouTube channel at kgfrocks.com on YouTube. Okay, and there's all kinds of different shows you can listen to from our past, and some really great artists that we had interviews with, and we had a really good time with them as well. Next week, our schedule goes over, and we are we've gotten booked, man. We're booked, no question about it. We are booked for the next 3 weeks. See, and I was silly because I didn't have my Facebook pulled up so I can read off who we're having next week. So I really screwed the pooch on this one, like I always do, right? I really just, you never know. I may get it right one of these shows, right, Rio?
You'll do it. I got confidence.
You got confidence in me? Okay, I appreciate that. And we're almost there, guys. We're really close. I promise.
Yeah, we used to have to make passwords for him that were like passwords.
Really, yeah. If you made it any more difficult than password, we were screwed. So yeah, I just, hey, like I'm just that way. I'm lucky to put the show on at all, man. I really am. Okay, January 27th, and it'll be next Sunday, same time, same place, and Rebels United will be on the show, and they're out of your area. Rebels United are out of the Jersey area, and they
Great.
are a heavy metal band as well. And this time we're going to go a little bit dark. Okay, Rebels United, very heavy metal rock. I think you're going to dig it, and so everybody tune in and go check out our Facebook page. I'll be sending out invitations later on. Okay, so well, Guido, you got anything else before we say goodnight?
Yeah, I just gotta pee. That's all.
I got to pee too. I've had way too much to drink. But again, I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. And you guys are the best. And anybody who listens to this show later on, hey, tell a friend about us. Tell a friend about us here at kgfrocks.com, okay? Because we deserve it, you know? We really do.
Deserve it.
We
Yeah.
do.
Sure.
We really
We've been
deserve
good
it.
little boys. You know?
We've been good little boys. Yeah. Yeah, we've been good little boys. Yeah, good little boys.
All right, you can end it. Stop trying to drag it out. Just end it.
I can end it? Are you
He's
sure?
He's like a Grateful Dead song. He does not know how to end it.
Yeah, I just don't know how to. I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to do. Yeah, we're doing okay though. We do okay. We're all right. Conjugal
But that's
visits,
what
right?
that's why Mike it works, because it's like, you know, there's a bit of difference in age between me and him, and it's like cool. It's a chemistry that works, you know, where he's got different view of something that happened in the 70s than I do, because I was like a little boy and he was a man. So,
Right.
you know, so he actually seen these things. And, you know, and then when it comes to the newer stuff, or maybe, you know, 2000s or whatever, that's where I take over. So it's kind of a cool dynamic. And that's why we get along with anybody that comes on. I don't care what age you are. We'll be able to talk to you, you know?
Yeah.
It's a cool thing.
Covered.
Yeah, coverage, right? That's what we need. That's what we need. Well, the hell with it. I can't find it. Everybody, thanks for listening. You all have a great evening, and I hope that you all have a great week coming up and a prosperous one. Okay? Thanks for listening. We appreciate you listening. Good night. Say good night.
Later.
Everybody. Say good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Okay. I can't find the fucking thing. Here, damn it. I'll do this one.
He's trying to pick a song. By the way, the Patriots and the Rams are the
Well, then
Super
you
Bowl.
need one. Join us live for Conjugal Visits, streaming through Spreaker, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. right here on kgfrocks.com. Conjugal Visits feature rock personalities, musical groups, and celebrities that are making the world rock right now. Don't miss Free Ride and Guido. It's the perfect diversion for a Sunday night, right here on kgfrocks.com, keeping the music alive.